Okay, grace and peace be to you on this day. Let's jump right into this. We're going to do this out of Isaiah chapter 11. I saw a few things in here that caught my attention. So let's start in verse 1. Isaiah 11, verse 1. There shall come forth a rod from the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. So the branch is Yeshua that's growing out of the roots of David, as promised. Verse 2. The Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord. So I also want you guys to see that when it talks about these spirits that are on Yeshua, these spirits should also be upon us because we are being exactly like Yeshua. The Word, the Spirit is turning us into everything that Yeshua was as well. So I want you guys to understand that we want the Spirit of the Lord to rest upon us. That's the Holy Spirit. We want the Spirit of wisdom and understanding to be with us so that we can see the Word for what Yah wants us to see in it. Without the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, this Word won't make any sense to us. The things we see around us won't make any sense. The Spirit of counsel and might. We need the Spirit of counsel and might to be with us so that we can speak to others in the right way, and might so that we can withstand. We want the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord for the same reasons that we need wisdom and understanding. The fear of the Lord is the beginning to all wisdom. The knowledge of the Lord, to know the deep things, to know the deeper meanings, the deeper things behind the word. Verse 3 says, his delight is in the fear of the Lord, and he shall not judge by the sight of his eyes, nor decide by the hearing of his ears. So the way, and this makes me think of Samuel, when Samuel went to go find David. Yah told Samuel, to go to Jesse's house, and one of his sons were going to be the new king. And every son that Samuel looked at, he thought, oh yeah, this is surely him. This one, he looks really good. And Yah had to correct him and say, no. Stop looking at the outward appearance. I do not look at the outward appearance. And these boys are not it. They're not who I chose. Let's go to verse 4. But with righteousness he shall judge the poor, and decide with equity for the meek of the earth. He shall strike the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips he shall slay the wicked. That's things that Yeshua is going to do. I also want you to understand by this, we have power in our mouth. We have power by the words we speak, which is the sword in the book of Romans, where Paul is talking about, putting on the armor of God. The sword, of course, is our mouth, is our words. Verse 5, righteousness shall be the belt of his loins, and faithfulness the belt of his waist, putting on the armor of Yah. Again, verse 6, the wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, the leopard shall lie down with the young goat, the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. The cow and the bear shall graze, the young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. The nursing child shall play by the cobra's hole, and the weaned child shall put his hand in the viper's den. These things are speaking of nations. I went back and I looked up each one of these. I'm not going to go into them right now, but there's nations that have these animals as their kind of mascot, as what represents them. So we want to understand that this is not literally going to happen. Not so much. Everything that they spoke about in the Old Testament now is a spiritual concept. Everything that they literally did back then is now a spiritual concept in the new age. Um, so we understand that these are nations, and nations will get along with each other. The wolf shall dwell with the lamb. There's two different peoples. We know the lamb is Israel, and the wolf being represented as a nation that is harsh to Israel. If I remember correctly, the wolf is part of nation that has the wolf as its animal is Italy. The Vatican is in Italy. The things that the Pope did to the lamb during the Dark Ages are atrocious. They're horrible. But here is saying the wolf shall dwell with the lamb. Those people who did that to us, they're going to come into the knowledge of Yeshua. They're going to come into the saving grace of our Yah, and they will dwell with us. Okay? So there's a lot of groups out there that they have a lot of hatred towards a lot of these other people. And Yah is always telling me, you cannot have hatred towards these people. And this is why, because we're going to dwell together. There's going to be a remnant from every nation on the earth. And all these remnants are going to come together to form the church, to form the children of Yah. All right, let's go to verse 9. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. All right, so we got to understand it's saying here that they shall not hurt nor destroy. So those days of getting even with other nations for the past things that they've done to us, that's null and void. We got to let that kind of stuff go, because we need the earth to be full of the knowledge of the Lord. We can't have knowledge spreading if we're also trying to spread violence, because, of course, violence is a fruit of the flesh. We cannot be in the flesh at all. This is why when you see Stephen in the New Testament, when he was being martyred by Paul and the people under him, he didn't even fight back. He was just like, whatever, go ahead and kill me. It doesn't matter. Because we worship a Yah that can raise the dead. It doesn't matter if we live or die. Our Yah, our God, is going to reward us for absolutely everything that happens to us in this life. So there will be no need to fight back. There will be no need to get even. There's no need to go out of our way to try to cause someone else pain and suffering. There's no need for it. Verse 10, and in that day there shall be a root of Jesse who shall stand as a banner for the people. For the Gentiles shall seek him, and his resting place shall be glorious. So this is the Old Testament, Isaiah. You see, Yah's plan has always been for everyone to come under the knowledge of him. It was supposed to be the children of Israel, but they failed miserably at their assignment. So now, in this new day and age, we are supposed to excel where our ancestors failed. So those who came before us, they messed up so bad by continuing to look at everybody else around them. So that's things that we have to get over. We have to stop looking at everyone around us, and we have to be the people who the Gentiles learn from, so that they shall seek him, and his resting place shall be glorious. Okay? Verse 11, it shall come to pass in that day. So in that day, meaning like the last day, and we are just at the beginning of the last age. Remember, the Old Testament was the first age. I mean, when Yeshua was the first part, and then what happened between the fall of Jerusalem and the end of slavery was the second part. And then now we're in the last age. So times, and half a time. We're now in the half a time. We're just in the very beginnings of it. When Yah is calling his people, he's calling the Gentiles, he's calling the remnant of Israel. And together they will form a remnant. Together they will form the children, the bride of Christ, the children of Yah. Okay? Verse 11. It shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people who were left from Assyria and Egypt, from Pathros and Cush, from Elam and Shinar, from Hamath and the islands of the sea. So that's everywhere where the transatlantic slave trade went. They brought people literally everywhere. The Arabs took many, many slaves and dispersed them all throughout the areas of Assyria, Egypt, all of that. Of course, we went all down throughout every part of Africa. And then, of course, on the west part of Africa, we got taken on ships everywhere else. And so, Yah is saying, for the second time, he's going to recover us. The first time he recovered us was after Babylon, Daniel, Babylon. So now this is the second time that he's pulling us from the lands. But this time he's going to bring us from all over the world instead of just the regional Mediterranean region. Verse 12, he will set up a banner for the nations. So all nations will be able to come. He will be a banner for all of them. Okay. And will assemble the outcasts of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Again, his own people, he's going to pull them in as a remnant. Okay. The outcasts of Israel. 13. Also the envy of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not harass Ephraim. I had to do a little bit of research on this because I didn't quite understand this. So Ephraim was jealous of Judah because of the law. Ephraim had a very hard time holding on to the law and doing what the law called them to do. So Ephraim is just another way of saying the northern tribes of Israel that were in Jerusalem. And of course, Judah was not a part of Israel. They were slightly separated, of course. But because of the sins of Ephraim, of course, they were taken first into slavery. Judah followed after a few years that Ephraim, or after a couple generations, Judah ended up falling into sin as well and eventually got taken away as well. Let's go to 14. But they shall fly down upon the shoulder of the Philistines toward the west. Together they shall plunder the people of the east. They shall lay their hand on Edom and Moab, and the people of Ammon shall obey them. Okay, but they shall fly down upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west. So if you look at on the map of the Mediterranean area, the people on the west would be Europe and all of that area. And then together they shall plunder the people of the east. We know that Asia and Italy and all of that is towards the not Italy, but more of the UAE and all of that area going over to the to Asia is the east. They shall lay their hand on Edom and Moab, and the people of Ammon shall obey them. 15. The Lord will utterly destroy the tongue of the sea of Egypt. With his mighty wind, he will shake his fist over the river and strike it in the seven streams and make men cross over dry shod. Okay, so he's talking about the Euphrates River. He's talking about drying it up. And we can see now that the Euphrates River has all been dried. It's just about completely dry. So he's going to make 7 streams of the Euphrates River. He's going to divert it. So that way people can walk over. What Yah's trying to do is stop people from being separated from each other. He's trying to bring people together, like we saw up top. Previous, it was saying how, all these different people are going to dwell together. They're going to be together. So drying up of the rivers, all of that stuff is just joining the people so that they can come across and kind of be together, kind of visit and, intermingle more so that the word of Yah can go forth. 16, there will be a highway for the remnant of his people who will be left from Assyria, as it was from Israel in the day that he came up from the land of Egypt. So what I wanted y'all to see in all of this is Yah's plan for the future. You see, as the remnant, as people who are set up to call other people and teach other people, I want you guys to see that this is something that's been talked about in the Old Testament. This is not me. This is not just a New Testament thing. This is something that has always been planned out, even in the days of Isaiah, for the whole world to be gathered together. I need to do another video about who is a Jew, because there's many, many places all throughout the Old Testament and New Testament that redefines what a Jew is, what a Hebrew is. And that meaning, a child of Yah. Who can be a child of Yah? And we need to understand it's open to everybody now. And because it's open to everybody, any person who wants to be a remnant, any person who wants to be a child of Yah has equal opportunity now. We're in a new age now. We're coming into the last age. And we need to get this thing together. We need to understand what we're doing. And our objective is not just to gather blessings. It's, you got all these people on YouTube talking about, God is going to bless you and, blessing this, blessing that, and money this, money that. This is not what Yah is talking about at all. Yah doesn't care about blessings. He doesn't really care about all those things. Those things are good for us. And blessing does not necessarily mean money. Not at all. Long life is a blessing. Yah promises to give us all that we need: food, water, clothing, shelter, the basics. Everything else is really, it doesn't really matter. Even when you look at Deuteronomy 28, it doesn't talk about money. He doesn't talk about everybody's just going to be rich. He's not talking about everybody's just going to have absolutely everything that you need, but you're going to have basically what you need. You're going to be blessed coming in and going out and all of that stuff. That means you're going to be safe. You're going to be okay. You're going to be taken care of. He's going to be with you. So we got to get off of this thing of blessing, always wanting a blessing, always wanting something good. And we need to turn our attention to doing what Yah called us to do from the very beginning, which is to go out and tell people about him, the truth about him. Not a fantasized version of what we want Yah to be like. Not a fantasized version of, Yah's going to do this and do these amazing things for you, when the word doesn't actually say that at all. He wants to bring us together under his knowledge, under his fear, counsel, might, knowledge, fear, his spirit, wisdom, understanding. Those things he wants to give us. Those are his blessings. All that other stuff has nothing to do with Yah's actual blessing. So we need to get it clear in our heads what the objective is. The objective is to share the gospel, share the word of Yah with everybody in the world, so that his kingdom may be full. And the harder we go at this, the more people come in under our guidance, our understanding, um, the better it is for us. So share your faith, share these videos, share, your testimony with other people, because that's how we expand Yah's kingdom. And that's what this is all about. This whole thing was about gathering everybody from wherever they were, and that everyone will eventually live in peace with each other. War will be no more. So we need to get ready to live in peace with everybody. Start practicing today. Teach your children, teach your families, your friends, everybody you can that's close to you. Let this word spread out throughout the earth like it's supposed to. And let's see how Yah is going to work this thing out. All right. We'll see y'all in the next video.